What crop? Okay, panel, good luck. Which is heavier, a bantamweight boxer or a featherweight? David.
Bantamweight.
Oh.
Ottawa.
Featherweight?
Yes.
Who was the first man to orbit the Earth? John.
Yuri Gagarin.
Yes.
What scientist was responsible for the wave mechanical equation, the solution of which described the behavior of an hydrogen atom in terms of its wave characteristics? David.
Bohr?
No.
Hoyndingen?
No.
Erwin Schrödinger. The 1943 murder of which Canadian tycoon in the Bahamas was the subject of a recent Scales of Justice program? Mark.
Ambrose Small?
No.
Scales of Justice. David.
Howe?
No.
Sir Harry Oakes. What name is given to citizens of Halifax? David.
Haligonians.
Yes.
Welcome to Reach for the Top, the game in which some of the province's brightest students have an opportunity to demonstrate their knowledge. This year, 34 teams entered into our preliminary eliminations, and 8 teams have made it to the finals. Now, let's meet today's championship contestants. From the Ottawa area, Nepean's Bell High School, with Scott Murphy, John Little, Mark Jays, and Ian Clydesdale, with teacher coaches Mrs. Roberta Romanko and Mr. Richard Majot. And from Saunders Secondary School, London, representing CFPL TV, it's Jeremy Queishan, Brent Chambers, David Thorsley, and Jennifer Stevenson. And teacher coaches Glenn Fisher and Bonnie Teven. Now, here's your quizmaster, Mark Lade.
Thank you, Jim Craig. Welcome to today's game. Welcome, panel. They're obviously ready to go, and you're all ready to go. I guess we should meet a couple of important people here. Steve Officer, a judge.
Mark?
These guys I don't think they've played against one another.
No, but they've both had some pretty impressive games to get from the opening rounds to this final tournament, so they're capable of scoring a lot of points.
Fasten your seatbelt. Kathy Gay-Kudis keeps track of the scores. Kathy's ready to go.
Hi, Mark.
Okay. Canadian newspapers will be our topic right after this.
I'm Jeremy Queishan from Saunders Secondary School in London.
Hi, I'm Mark Jays, representing Bell High School from Nepean.
I'm Mark Lade. Please join us on Reach for the Top. All right. Reach for the Top continues. Topic is Canadian newspapers. What was Canada's first newspaper? Scott.
The Halifax Gazette.
Yes.
Good. The Globe merged with which other newspaper, David?
The Mail?
No.
In 1936 to form the Globe and Mail. Ottawa, what are we looking at here, Ian?
Daily Mail.
No.
The Mail and Empire. The Quebec government of Maurice Duplessis used, Mark?
La Cité Libre.
No.
Used its Padlock Act to shut down newspapers considered to be associated with which party? David?
The FLQ?
No.
The Communist Party. All right, panel, watch your monitors. We have a painting here we'd like you to have a look at. What 19th century master painted this bright scene? Mark?
Monet?
No.
19th century master. David?
Matisse?
No.
Van Gogh. Van Gogh painted in France, but what was his nationality, John?
Dutch?
That's right.
European history. In the half century after 1830, the principle of national rights made great progress. 3 new Balkan states appeared. David?
Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia?
No.
The two were Romania and Bulgaria. What was the name of the third, which in 1880 obtained international recognition following a series of wars with the Ottomans?
Albania?
No.
Montenegro. A large step toward the affirmation of the nationality principle occurred in 1830 when an independent monarchy under the protection of Prussia, France, and Britain was established in what country? Ian?
No.
David?
Germany?
No.
Greece. Which Balkan nation is populated by the Geg speakers? David.
Albania?
Yes.
All right, here's a two-part.
Score has Saunders with 20 and Ottawa with 40.
And here's a scramble for 10 points. Trapper John M.D. was a spin-off of what show? John.
MASH?
Yes.
Okay. Ottawa, these are yours. They deal with MASH. What three characters from MASH were the stars of After MASH? John.
Hawkeye, Trapper John, and Klinger?
No.
After MASH.
They've
Oh, they've tried it. Okay. Colonel Potter, Corporal Klinger, Father Mulcahy. What was strange about the way Klinger often dressed?
Dressed like a woman.
Yes.
Why did he do that?
He wanted to get insanity discharge.
Yes.
That's right. Section 8 discharge.
So Ottawa now has 70, CFBL at 20.
Let's see how we do with horse racing here. Which horse race was first run at Toronto's Carlton, David?
Queen's Plate?
Yes.
Queen's Plate. What was the name of the race temporarily changed to in 1902? Mark.
King's Plate.
Yes.
Who was the first reigning monarch to attend the race in 1939? Mark.
George VI.
Yes.
Originally, the race's distance varied from a mile to 2 miles. At what distance was the race, Mark?
Mile and a half.
No.
At what distance was the race fixed in 1957? David.
Mile and a quarter?
Yes.
On to 18th century music. We'd like you to listen to these selections and answer the questions to follow. The first piece. Who's the composer of that concerto? Ian.
Beethoven.
No.
David.
Third.
No.
Vivaldi, the concerto for violoncello, strings, and harpsichord. Here's our second piece. Ian.
Johann Sebastian Bach.
Yes.
That's right. The very day, so joyful. And our third piece now. Mark.
Handel.
No.
Toward the end of the century, who composed this work? David.
Mozart.
Yes.
That's right. Exultante Jubilate. Who recorded that celebrated music by Mozart? Who were we listening to there?
Celia Bartoli.
No.
No. Ian?
London Philharmonic.
No.
Kirite Kanawa. Literature. In the Dickens novel A Christmas Carol, who was Ian?
Tiny Tim.
No.
Who was the original partner in Scrooge's firm? David.
Jacob Marley.
Yes.
Scrooge blamed his nightmare visions on what? Mark.
Too much food.
No.
Specifically, Brent?
Bad gravy?
No.
An undigested morsel of mutton or potato. Who was Scrooge's office assistant? Ian.
Tim Cratchit.
No.
David.
Bob Cratchit.
Yes.
Bob Cratchit.
With that, Nepean Bell has 100 and Saunders has 70.
Rock music. What guitarist's biggest hit, Valley Girl, featured his daughter, Moon Unit? Oh, Brent.
Zappa?
Yes.
Frank Zappa. What product of the British invasion hit #2 with She's Not There in 1964? Mark.
Zombies.
Yes.
What Torontonian was backed by Linda Ronstadt and James Taylor on his #1 hit, Heart of Gold? Mark.
Neil Young.
Yes.
Mountains. Although the Himalayas contain many of the world's tallest peaks, which mountain range is the longest in the world? David.
The Andes.
Yes.
Denali is another name for this peak. David.
McKinley.
Yes.
Which author immortalized Africa's highest mountain in his famous short story, John?
Hemingway?
Yes.
The Snows of Kilimanjaro. Word puzzles. We're looking for a letter here. What letter do we add to the beginning of a word, the French for the English word united, to create a second word meaning one of the former Barbary states in North Africa, once notorious for its... David.
T.
Yes.
You add T to uni, and you get Tunis. All right, moving right along here, we're looking for another letter. What letter do we add to the beginning of a word meaning a more or less rigid floating platform to create a second word meaning the acquisition of... David?
G.
Yes.
Yeah, G to raft, and you get graft.
So Nepean Bell now has 130, Saunders 120.
And the topic is international politics. What Caribbean country, David,
Haiti.
No.
are American tourists not allowed to visit?
Cuba.
Ottawa. John?
Cuba.
Yes.
What group governed Kampuchea in the late... David?
Khmer Rouge.
Yes.
From what country did the boat people come? David.
Vietnam.
Yes.
Who was the hero of the 1993 World Series with a perfectly, David,
Oh, Palm Alder.
No.
with a perfectly timed home run for the Blue Jays? Mark.
Joe Carter.
Yes.
Unsaturated That's good work. Unsaturated hydrocarbons contain a triple bond, such as acetylene, are called what? David.
Oh, Essenes.
No.
Mark.
Polysaturated.
No.
They're called alkynes. Which former basketball star signed up with the Chicago White Sox? Ian.
Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Which baseball team plays in Riverfront? David.
The Cincinnati Reds.
Yes.
Who's Secretary General of NATO? David.
Oh, golly.
No.
John.
Werner?
Yes.
Manfred Werner. Okay. So we're looking at a pretty close game at this point. We'll take a short break and return with the assigned question. Where do we stand at the half?
As we knew it would be. Lots of scoring and a very tight game. Nepean Bell has 170 and Saunders has 150.
All right, moving on to the assigned question. Jeremy and Scott, you're up first. I'll give you the name of a capital city of a United States southern state. You tell me the state. Jackson. Scott.
Mississippi.
Yes.
Baton Rouge. Scott.
Louisiana.
Yes.
Brent and John. Columbia. John.
Ohio.
No.
Columbia. Brent.
Time.
South Carolina. Little Rock. John.
Arkansas.
Yes.
David and Mark. Montgomery. Mark.
Alabama.
Yes.
Atlanta. Mark.
Georgia.
Yes.
Jennifer and Ian. Tallahassee. Jennifer.
Florida?
Yes.
Raleigh. Ian.
North Carolina.
Yes.
Good work. All right, mathematics is our topic now. If A plus B equals 16, and David.
1/4.
Yes.
I didn't even finish the question. All right, a newspaper ad says save 25% or $160 on a new microwave, David.
$480.
Yes.
We were looking for the sale price of the microwave.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All righty, an equilateral triangle has sides of length 6 centimeters, David.
36.
Yes.
It's we were going to.
Thank you, Karnak.
Yeah, Karnak says
Nepean Bell has 230, Saunders has 190.
mercy. Okay, foreign words and phrases. What is wonderful in German? David,
Wunderbar.
Yes.
name the famous Greek term which means I have found it. Mark,
Eureka.
Yes.
what did Asino mean by exempli gratia? Ian,
An example is given here.
Yes.
that's right, or for example. Wow. Okay, 10 points. Here's a scramble. On October 17th, 1989, an earthquake, David,
World Series.
No.
measuring 6.9 on the Richter scale, hit what U.S. state? Mark.
California.
Yes.
Okay, and these are yours, Ottawa. Our questions deal with the earthquake. The earthquake occurred at 5:04 p.m. Pacific time, about half an hour before what event? Mark.
The start of Game 3 of the 1989 World Series.
Yes.
A long section of Interstate 880 collapsed, crushing rush hour traffic. What was special about this freeway?
Oh.
It was the bridge. Yeah.
It was
Mark.
a bridge that had two sort of layers, two tiers to the bridge.
Yes.
Exactly. It had 2 tiers. Parts of another 2-tiered structure also collapsed. What was this structure?
A building? Just
Mark?
Candlestick Park.
No.
The Bay Bridge. The topic is botany now, panel. In what plant part or structure does the process take place that causes plants to be green? David.
Oh, the leaves.
No.
Mark.
The chloroplast.
Yes.
What is the green pigment in chloroplasts? David.
Chlorophyll.
Yes.
What is the evaporation of water from the leaves? Mark.
Condensation.
No.
What is the evaporation of water from the leaves of plants called? David.
Transpiration.
Yes. So with that, Nepean Bell has 290, Saunders has 220.
And here's a who am I question. First clue correctly answered is worth 40 points. Born in Duncan, Oklahoma, March 1, 1954, I quickly entered the life of acting. For 40 points, who am I? Mark.
Robert Redford.
No.
1954. David.
Tom Cruise.
No.
For several years, I played Opie opposite Andy Griffith on the Andy Griffith Show for 30 points. John.
Ron Howard?
Yes.
Ron Howard.
Ian Bell now has 320 to Saunders 220.
Art. Portraits. Let's take a look at this portrait here. This is the work of what master of French classicism? John.
Toulouse-Lautrec?
No.
French classicism. Saunders? David?
Renoir.
No.
Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres. Ingres dominated French art in the first half of what century? David?
The 17th.
No.
Mark.
18th.
No.
19th. Ingres followed in the footsteps of what great painter of classical themes during the French Revolution? Early Scott.
David?
Yes.
Jacques-Louis David. Personalities. This entertainer is French. His art is mime. Mark.
Massot.
Yes.
Marcel Marceau. What popular British specialist on pets told TV audiences, Mark,
Attenborough.
No.
told TV audiences all over the world about the importance of walkies? Who are we referring to here? Popular British specialist on pets. Barbara Woodhouse. What former Canadian big band leader says he was the Brian... David.
Guy Lombardo.
No.
Say he was the Brian Adams of the 1940s. Mark.
Oscar Peterson.
No.
Mark Kenny.
Ottawa now has 340, Saunders 220.
And here's a 20-point special. In what 4 cities does Toronto Sun Publishing... David?
Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, and Calgary.
No.
Ottawa. We're looking for the 4 cities that the Toronto Sun Publishing operates daily tabloids. John.
Vancouver, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal?
No.
Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, and Ottawa. The Old Testament. Miriam was the sister of which famous pair of brothers? Mark.
Cain and Abel.
No.
Famous pair of brothers.
Time.
Moses and Aaron. According to the first sentence of the Bible, what 2 things did God create in
The heavens and the earth.
Yes.
From the book came the quotations, the meek shall inherit the earth, and the Lord, Ian.
Matthew.
No.
Okay, which book are we talking about? The meek shall inherit the earth, and the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Where do these quotes come from? David.
Psalms.
Yes.
Who was the first king of Israel? David.
Oh, Joshua.
No.
Slain in battle and then succeeded by David.
Just
Ottawa.
Saul.
Yes.
Mythology. Which Greek warrior killed himself when the armor of the dead Achilles was awarded to Odysseus? John.
Agamemnon?
No.
Greek warrior. Saunders? Brent?
Hector.
No.
Ajax. Which son of Odin and Frigg was slayed by an arrow of... David?
Balder.
Yes.
Arrow of mistletoe. For 10 points, what ancient culture's counting system uses letters such as L, M, and D? David?
The Romans.
Yes.
How is 69 represented in Mark?
L, X, I, X.
Yes.
Implementation of the nuclear disarmament agreements between the United States and Russia is resulting in a buildup of what warhead substance? David?
Plutonium.
Yes.
Who was the proclaimed king of Spain in David?
Juan Carlos.
Yes.
What U.S. state has the longest border with Canada? David?
Montana.
No.
Longer than that. Mark?
Alaska.
Yes.
Derek Beacon, a racist and neo-Nazi, has recently won a by-election in London, England. What party does he represent? Mark?
Labor.
No.
David?
The Tories.
No.
British National Party. Technology to make the information superhighway possible has appeared in the last few years. In this technology, what does ATM stand for? David?
Automatic teller machine.
No.
No. Ian?
Asynchronous transfer of... Lost it.
Time.
Asynchronous transfer mode. Don't you hate it when that happens? Chemistry. What's the name, meaning royal water, for the mixture of nitric and hydrochloric acids? Ian?
Aquae, Realis.
No.
Saunders? Aqua regia. This soft silver-white metallic element is the lightest alkali metal. David?
Lithium.
Yes.
What is the name for oxide containing 1 oxygen atom? Ian?
Monoxide.
Yes.
European film directors. This tall, portly director starred in all of his films and enjoyed taking a critical look at the French bourgeoisie. Mon Oncle and Monsieur Hulot's Holiday are 2 of his most famous films. This director also starred in Seance on a Wet Afternoon, one of the low-budget British films of the 1960s. Now a Sir, he won great acclaim for his directing of Gandhi.
Kenneth Branagh.
Time's up, Ian. Saunders, any idea? The director's name is Sir Richard Attenborough. What contemporary of René Clair, the first screen satirist
Snappers.
Okay, let's close things off.
Saunders has 290, P and Bell 390.
Which city in Colombia is the center of the... David.
Medellin.
Yes.
What name is given to amino acids linked... Mark,
Peptides.
No.
together by peptide bonds in repeating sequences? Protein. She went around the world in 1889 in... Scott.
Time.
She went around the world in 1889 in 72 days, 6 hours, and 11 minutes. What was her name? Nellie Bly. What liquor is used to make Bloody Marys? Screwdriver. David.
Vodka.
Yes.
Who wrote the novel Under the Volcano? David.
Me.
No.
Under the Volcano. Who wrote it? Ottawa? John?
Gordon Fenton.
No.
Malcolm Lowry. What's the name for the measure of fine yarn, such as used in... David.
Length.
Such as used in nylons or pantyhose? Mark.
Denier.
Yes.
If David drives 5 miles in 10 minutes, how many miles would he have driven in David?
30.
How many miles would he have driven in 2 hours? Ian.
60.
Yes.
In 1982, which crazy Canuck became the first... Mark.
Steve Podborski.
Yes.
In what U.S. city would I find the World Trade Center? David.
New York.
To what playwright was Marilyn Monroe once? David.
Joe DiMaggio.
No.
Mark.
Arthur Miller.
Yes.
What is the largest and most populous nation in South... Mark.
Brazil.
Yes.
What was the language used in the Imperial Court of China's... David.
Mandarin Chinese.
Yes.
Name Germany's largest World War... David.
Oh, Auschwitz.
The
No.
World War II battleship that was sunk in...
Bismarck.
Yes.
What is the name given to a single eyeglass?
I don't...
Okay. We're going to take a short break. Reach for the Top. We'll be right back. Okay, what did we wind up with there?
Well, Saunders did a great job with 330 points, but it wasn't enough to match the P and Bell's 450. They're our new provincial champions.
They are to be congratulated. As a matter of fact, to make the official congratulation, we would call upon the executive producer for Reach for the Top, Sandy Stewart, to present the Reach for the Top provincial trophy to Mark Jays, the spokesperson for Bell High School in Nepean. Would you do that now, please? And we will also call upon Paul Russell, who's editorial producer for Reach for the Top, to present the books. The book prize is Peter Zosky's Canadian Living from McClellan and Stewart to the winning team. Congratulations to all contestants. And so it's on to the Nationals. We'll see you next week on Reach for the Top. Bye now.
Reach for the Top is designed as a showcase for exceptional Canadian young people. Congratulations again to our provincial champions. And next week, we move on to the first game of the quarterfinal of the All-Canada Championships. I'm Jim Craig. You'll be here again next week for another exciting Reach for the Top.